Hello and welcome back to another popcorn chat. I hope you guys are doing well. In this video, we're going to be speaking about the latest Marvel film, Thunderbolts. I was curious to see what they're going to do with this film, bringing together all these characters from recent films and TV shows in the Marvel universe. And I think they really pulled this one off. I think bringing in a director like Jake Schreier really brought a sort of fresh aesthetic to this film. He directed the Beef TV series on Netflix, and this definitely feels a lot more grounded. I saw a featurette before where Florence Pugh was falling off a building, like she actually did that wearing wires. And that piqued my interest by approaching this film with a lot more hands-on approach, ditching the green and blue screen and using more of the grey screen and just feeling a bit more grounded. I think it really worked. There's some great performances and character moments in this film. I think bringing together these sort of nomads and complicated characters was bound to create great sort of chemistry and contrasting personalities. So I think it was a great mix to have on screen. It wasn't the kind of Suicide Squad or, these kind of teams before, or the Avengers. It's something different, definitely. They're kind of more rebels and sort of anti-heroes within society. So had a little bit of a different tone, less humorous, but nonetheless, I think these characters really bounced off each other. I think one of my favourite performances was from Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Valentina, kind of the big baddie in this film, minus the other baddie, who's not really a baddie. I think she played the character amazingly. She's very sort of camp, she's villainous, she doesn't really care about the sort of more humanistic sides of these people. She has a clear intention, and I like that. I like seeing a downright baddie, and I think she just brought a lot of humor to it. And yeah, she was just amazing. Coming in with those blonde bangs in every scene, she just stole the show for me. At the core of this film and the message in which it tries to explore is very much a serious one, and I think it handles it in a really sort of well done way. It's a 12A, this film, and I think this would be a really accessible entrance into maybe having those more open discussions about mental health and, feeling that you're not alone, and talking about your experiences and feelings is so important. And I think it kind of balances it in a really effective way for maybe children watching, adults watching, but still making it entertaining at the same time. If anyone knows me, they know I'm a big Sebastian Stan fan of anything he does. And especially my introduction to him was Bucky in the Captain America film. And seeing him come into this film, there's a moment where there's an action scene and they're being chased, and then you're like, oh, who's helping them? Oh my goodness. Bucky Barnes turns up on a motorbike with shades, with his little bob, and just steals the scene. And it feels like such an action film. Like, I was like, oh, this is so exciting. I sat up in my seat and I was like, I'm so into this. Like, it was just so fun. Not just because it was Sebastian Stan, guys, but because the action was so good and it felt like a really cinematic experience you might see in like a Mission Impossible film, it's kind of espionage film. It felt like that scene, and I loved that kind of car chase and him showing up. I just thought that was such a great cinematic experience. There's a lot to enjoy about this film, and I think it has put Marvel back on form. It's not like the best thing, of course, but I think it's much more of an interesting film. Nonetheless, it does have a few flaws. I felt like I'd seen Bob's character journey in many films and TV before, where you have a character who's experienced tragedy and trauma within their lives, and then they are given this power and someone tries to manipulate them and use them for their own good. And I've seen that before, not just because David Harbour's in this, but for like Stranger Things or various other films and TV, especially sci-fis and action films, where I've just seen this character before and I knew where I was going to go. I felt cliched in that sense. So yeah, it was a little bit frustrating because I felt I could predict the story beats going forwards. The overall aesthetic of the film was quite flat. There's a clear kind of grading choice, which is very grey and very dull. And like I said, they use grey screen to key out any sort of backgrounds. But just overall, the aesthetic felt quite flat. It was a little bit, lackluster for me in terms of like the colors and brightness. Whereas I know you go to like space film like the Marvels or Ant-Man, there's going to be a lot more vibrance. but this film just felt really kind of desaturated. And obviously the big baddie in this film kind of is all about kind of withdrawing colour from life. So maybe it's into that, but just from a general cinema goer point of view, it felt a little bit flat for me. Overall, I did think this was an entertaining Marvel film. Does this mean that the MCU is back? I'm not so sure, but it was an entertaining watch, and I think it's one of the better films I've seen in recent years. I think the TV shows have been excellent as well. I think they've been putting a lot more focus into those, and I think that format really works. Going forward, I'll probably just be dipping my toes into some of the films that sound interesting to me or have certain characters that I love. If you've seen the film, let me know your thoughts of Thunderbolts down below in the comments. I'd love to check those out. Thank you so much for watching this review, and I'll see you guys very soon for another popcorn chat.